I want to welcome you guys to episode 68 of the Grindhouse podcast. We're actually back in person shooting, so we're at my apartment. We're with a very special guest, our first fashion designer on the podcast, Phor Popes. How you doing?
I look like $1 million, but feel like $1 billion.
You definitely look like $1 million, for sure.
But
for sure.
I feel good, man. It was an honor to be here. It's finally, I feel like I need to tell my stories to see if it could inspire other people as well, because I feel like the steps that I took, it could get somebody through a lot of mistakes that they might potentially go through. So
I'm excited to talk about it. Let me real quick introduce the podcast. So again, welcome to the Grindhouse podcast. I'm your host, Edwin Cabrera, aka Steady Eddie. To the right of me is my homeboy, Chris Martin, aka Critta.
What's up, guys? Just real quick before we get in today's episode, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It definitely helps us out. Also, if you like what we do, share what we do. Also, if you want to support us, you can buy our merch at grindhouse.store. All right, let's get into today's episode.
Word. And so, as I said, we're with Phor Popes. We're very excited just because, you know, as we said when we first started the podcast, it's not just about like highlighting and talking to artists like musicians and stuff like that. We want to be able to highlight different people in the scene who work within hip hop. We want to get sort of your knowledge to be able to learn and stuff like that. So what you were just talking about, I think, is absolutely like the exact reason we brought you on. So I want to just bring it back to the beginning, and then we'll start from there. So real quick, like, tell us about like who you are, where you come from, and you know, how you got the fashion bug, I guess.
Well, I'm Phor Popes. I'm from Lawrence, Massachusetts, in Boston. I'm currently living in Lowell. I started my brand in 2018, so within the 3 years, I've taken tremendous stride in the development of my brand, and I'll say within this last year, throughout the pandemic, is where it started picking up a little more, and like people started reaching out. Just because 2019 was, I used to average like 4 shows a month, fashion shows, or if it's not even me part of being a fashion show, I'm either directing a fashion show. So it was just videos after videos after videos after videos. So it kind of went over people's heads, like. It was like, all right. So when the pandemic came, it forced people to really just fall back a little. And that's when I started releasing when I started releasing, but re-releasing these videos, and everybody was like, hey, yo, what was that, bro? When was that? Yo, that was cool, bro. Next show, yo. So it made people realize, all right, okay, somebody was really on the grind. So to be honest, it sounds fucked up, but I feel like I'm the only individual that says, thank COVID that happened, bro. Because it made people take a step back and realize that there is true talent, and then there is something happening in the fashion industry. Because again, we live in New England, where if you come across 10 individuals, 6, 7 are artists. You feel me? Like, or if not, to make music somehow. There's not too many designers. And the fact that I take that responsibility to really put that on my shoulder and really be the one that's creating opportunities and making something out of nothing, especially in the Boston scene, to me is an honor and a challenge as well.
Why do you feel like fashion is so important, especially to a realm like hip hop?
Because at the end of the day, man, like example, like right when an artist when they go to a photo shoot, or is marketing themselves, you gotta be marketable. You gotta have some type of fashion sense, man. Like you, at the end of the day, fashion and music, they meet. So you can't ignore it. You really can't ignore it. And people have been ignoring it because there's not somebody that's really, I wanna say take action, because at the end of the day, there's other people that are doing it just what I'm doing, but I just been a little bit more vocal, a little bit more active, and a little bit more out there and taking a lot more risk. So you can't ignore it, man. And the fact that at the end of the day, artists needs to be marketable, I'm here. Because I feel like not a lot of artists really network. But because I feel like that's like egos getting in the way. Like, oh, I gotta be better than you. I gotta put the city on top. Bro, do your thing. But at the end of the day, you need some gear. So you could do your thing, yeah, but I'm here. So the fact that there's not too many designers really looking at fashion like that, it makes me feel like, all right, supply and demand.
How did you like learn the skills of like making clothing? Because you sew and you tailor. Like, how did you learn those skills?
Bro, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm still learning.
Yeah.
I'm still learning because I didn't go to school for this. I'm self-taught. Everyday YouTube University. Like I literally have like a channel on my YouTube, a playlist. It's just a bunch of DIY visuals on how to make stuff. Like right now, I'm in the process. I'm gonna tell you right now. Like right now, I'm in the process of learning how to make blazers, and like I feel like I want to take my urban kind of approach in the game to bring it to a luxury level with suits and bring urban to that level. You feel me? So like Kevin Kline, Tom Ford, you know, a nice little silk velvet black suit, right? But imagine if you splash some flannel on that, some denim pockets, like make it more urban, but at the same time very tailored and luxury that you just have to have that. You have to have it. It gives that moxie effect to the public.
Dope, man. I commend you on that because I think information right now, especially in today's age with the internet, information is out there for people to get it. Like you don't necessarily have to enroll in like a $50,000 a year college program in order to be able to get the information that you've been given. Like you got that shit from YouTube. That's sick. You know, it's like you're self-taught. That's sick. What gives you that drive to even go out and like find out yourself how to do this thing?
The fact that I don't like being chilled, bro. Like I don't like seeing something and me buying it when I know I can make it. A perfect example, like if I go to a store, right? Face mask required, right? Well, sometimes I don't have my mask, but they'll give me one. But it's like, hey, I designed the mask. So it's like, bro, you can't go wrong with that. So the fact that I've learned that and I'm still learning, I only can say that it's just a learning experience. I'm learning every day.
Tell me about the first thing you ever like designed that you put your finger in.
Yo, the first thing I designed, man, I don't even think I designed something the first time. I was trying to design something. Like when I started designing 3 years ago. I wasn't really focusing on actually cutting patterns and making stuff from scratch because I wasn't at that level yet, and I was still learning. I was at a tailor shop where my Wilfie, he's like my Mr. Guru. Like when Mike calls you, he's my Mr. Miyagi. Like I learn from him, and I'm still learning from him. And I was just breaking up shirts, cutting up socks, cutting up sleeves from jackets, and putting in another sleeves, and just looking at it, and I'm like, So it was to the point that I had no more clothes. Like I was like, I look at my closet, I'm like, damn, shit, I don't got no clothes. So the first time learning to design was actually trying to design a piece. So that's the way I look at it, man. And I feel like we got to go deeper than that as well, because before we got there, the story why I started designing is because I was part of this group back in Boston, and I was just seeing it from the inside out, which is called OSOS, and I noticed that they were just buying bulks of sweaters and just heat pressing their logos on it. And I was seeing how fast they were making money, and again, I was in high school. The fact that there was like people really rocking with us, I was like, oh, I feel pretty cool, you know? Like, and the fact that we were still in high school and doing like 21 plus clubs and going there and just promoting stuff. To me, I felt cool because I go on a Thursday night to a club to promote stuff, and then Friday morning I'll be at school. So to me, I gotta give thanks to Wilfie, just because, man, out of everybody, he's the only one that gave me the opportunity to really design at his tailor shop. Before I went to any other tailor shops, they were just denying me. Like, no, this guy that's sitting here, he's on vacation. And I'd be like, oh, but there's a chair there. Oh, he's coming back, he's on break. So they didn't really see the potential in me. But this guy, he literally just saw the drive in me, gave me the opportunity, sold me my first sewing machine. And now we fast forward to when I first designed my first pieces, he was giving me opportunities there. And to the point that he gave me the keys, and I started taking more risk. And when I first designed, I remember that piece, I still got it. It was a denim shirt. And I thought it was crazy. I look at it now, I was like, damn, I still need work. So yeah, man, it's a learning experience still for me.
Would you say, like, and sorry,
No, go ahead.
But like, would you say that he put you on? I guess where did the passion come from? Did you always have that passion for it? Where did it birth?
The passion came from young, and I'm not gonna say I'm gonna be real with you. I didn't grow up designing clothes, none of that. I was always just well dressed, and then it got to the point that when skinny jeans came into play in the world, my grandma used to tailor my pants for me, and the sound of the sewing machine, I just loved it, bro. I don't know. It's just that sound, bro. That like the sound that shit is being created. To me, I loved it. So it got to the point that I used to just give my grandma pants when they even tailored. Like I'm like, yo, grandma, do this, and I didn't even want them tailored. I just wanted to see how she go about it. So the passion came from her watching her, and it really grew when she passed away, because. And I'm kind of, I'm not gonna say I'm disappointed, but the fact that the passion grew when she passed away, it kind of hurts because she's not seeing what I learned from those times. You feel me? Like those 2 minutes, 3 to like 12 minutes lasted me a lifetime now. So the fact that she's not here to see that, it kind of hurts, but that's what really pushed me to really become somebody, because there's nobody in my family that design clothes. Nobody design clothes. Like, nobody's into really fashion like that. Nobody really artistic. Like, not a lot of my family members go to college. So like, I'm like the only one that I'll say, like, I'm the last hope for my family to make something happen for this generation, because you never know. I have a kid on the way, and I have big hopes that my kid is gonna be bigger than I ever was. So the fact that she passed away and I grew the passion, and she's not there.
I feel like, and that's one way to look at it. I also feel like, yo, bro, she's living on through you. You know, like that's how you know, that's how it is. Like, it sucks that she wasn't able to see obviously the person you've become, but she's absolutely living on through you. You know, like the stuff you've been, especially the past year, I've been seeing your shit everywhere. And I like, the second I saw you were working with KMF, and the second they dropped that video, I believe like the videographer's name like Burns or something like that. The second I saw that video, I was like, yo, who's making these designs? This is like top level stuff. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, it's you know, it sucks, but at the same time it's a blessing, because I feel like you are an absolute, like, what you're doing now is beautiful. And for it to come from that, I think is even more beautiful, because it's like she does live on through you.
I like that. It does, but sometimes it feels good to hear that, other than just saying it to myself. You know?
Yeah.
So it kind of touched me a little. Oh man, but yeah.
So this, obviously, we're primarily a hip hop podcast. How has hip hop influenced your design style?
Dramatically, because fashion is really, first, before I even go to, hip hop has a big influence in the culture. And the fact that I want to voice my opinion and make it be heard, just like the hip hop culture, it just drives me more, because at the end of the day, you need fashion. The artist needs fashion. You need to be marketable. There's a lot of artists that are not dope, but their fashion sense, dope. Like, example, Tyga. You feel me? Tyga is, to me, the worst rapper in the world.
Good example.
You feel me? So, but look at his style, bro.
Right on the money there.
To me, like, look at his style, man. He makes it marketable. You feel me? So the fact that hip hop has a big influence in the culture, I want to be an influence to the culture myself.
There's absolutely a cool factor in hip hop. Like, like there's absolutely cool, like, whether people like to admit or not. And I feel like it's just right there. Like a cool factor, I feel like, in hip hop as an artist is important. That's why I like to be behind the camera. I'm not a cool guy like that. You know, I'm cool in my own ways, but I can never like present like that cool. I feel like hip hop is always like, you know, like it's one of the first things you were talking about earlier, like if you can't dress, it's like people, it's one of the first marketable things that you can do. How do you feel about just like, because you design not just for men, obviously, but you design for women. Is there a different approach when you're designing from, you know, one to the other?
Believe it or not, it is. I personally feel designing female clothes is a lot easier than guys. And the reason why is because, for example, like for a female, a dress, it's like the front and back. For a shirt, you gotta make the sleeves, the neck, you gotta put the inner seams. So like, designing clothes for females, it gives you a lot more freedom, creativity, because it's like a flat canvas when you design it. So it's like literally a flat canvas, and you just go from there. So yes, it is a different approach, because when it comes to designing for guys, that's where I kind of go to my inspiration thoughts, or my inspiration zone, and start looking at Japanese culture, start looking at Japanese fashion itself, start looking at artists, Pinterest, like start looking just like poses, photo shoots, ideas, and just go based off that. So yeah, it's a big approach. At least for me, it's a big difference.
Sick. In terms of like if somebody wanted to start, somebody who like, let's say start from somebody who's like maybe 12, 13, who's like not so fashionable right now. Maybe they get even picked on because they're not fashionable and they're like, I'm gonna show these kids, I'm a be the most fashionable looking person here. Where would you recommend they start in terms of developing that, like an understanding, a visual understanding of what looks good and what doesn't look good?
Just
Some
start,
people don't know.
just
Some
to
people
me,
don't
just
know.
like start watching movies, start watching commercials, start watching fashion shows on YouTube. Just start watching something that is in the same field. Example, if you're a cook, if you want to cook, well, start looking at recipes, start looking at like ordinary dishes, like start experimenting. So like I say for me, take that first step into knowing what you want, and then knowing what you want is more of like start researching. I feel like the more doors you start knocking on, the more doors are gonna open. So yeah, then the door's not always gonna be open at the beginning, but keep knocking, man. Keep searching, keep researching. Because at the end of the day, if you're learning something new every day, then you're not really progressing in life. So that's how I feel. Just look, you wanna be a fashion designer? Who's your favorite fashion designer? Start from there. Like who you look up to? Who you look up to? Then from there, look at their styles. Why they came up with that style? What did that style do to the public when they promoted that style? What was the reaction? Like, okay, once you start a reaction, is that what you want to do? No? Well, look at the next collection. So just always start, just research, always learn something new, because at the end of the day, appetite comes when you eat and ideas comes when you work.
You talk about inspiration. Can you talk? So you recently dropped a line that was inspired by Training Day, if I'm.
Yeah, it was it was recently, but it was just a hoodie. But yes,
Do you want to
Day.
talk about like pulling inspiration from like a movie and making it fashionable?
So for me, I obviously from Training Day is when the Welcome to the Jungle, and if you looked at everybody, it's like that Moxie effect. It's like, who is that? Like, who the hell is that guy coming through our hood? Like, who? Like, why are you here? Well, that's the same effect I want to do with my clothes, bro. Like, who is this guy? Like, what does he do? Like, why are you here? So that right there, to me, it hit me different, because when I was watching the movie, I felt like they were looking at me the whole time. So that's what I was trying to do for the video. Like, I told all the models, just look at the camera, mean mug. Like, so I want the crowd to look at, I want the public to feel that they're looking at them while they're watching the video. So that's what really inspired me, because it's like that Moxie effect, literally, that Moxie effect. It's like, everybody just stop what they're doing and just look.
I think of that meme, you know, that
so
have you
dope.
seen that meme where it's like the dude's walking with his girlfriend, they're holding hands, and he's like turn around, look at the other girl. Have you ever seen that meme before? I think like that with fashion though. It's like, what was that?
Yeah, I look at it like, yeah, but didn't he get slapped? But
Oh, it was a meme. I don't know.
yeah. Because I was gonna say there's a lot of stuff like that, literally, man. And
I got a question in terms of like, because you look like, you said it earlier, you look like $1 million. You absolutely do. Do you have to have like money in order to dress well?
no, bro. Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now. Listen, the best place to shop at, that's a thrift store. I tell you, bro, my outfit right now. If you look at my outfit, no more than like $70. My jacket, $4 at the thrift store. Sweater, made it myself. Pants, $2.99. Socks, like $2. The most expensive I got is literally the Timbs. You don't have to have money to dress well. Just come to me, I got you. You feel me? Like, you don't have to have money to dress well. And that's why I know I'm gonna make an impact, because a lot of these people in the industry, like, they wear designer stuff and they think they're on a different level.
Yeah.
Bro, you give me how much you spend on your belt, bro, holy shit, I would turn that and quadruple that to something else. So, no, to answer your question, you don't need money to look good.
I like that.
At the end of the day, you just gotta feel good in your skin, pretty much.
Yeah, I like that because like I feel like the fashion that I've been privy to, that I've seen like in my life. That's why I've never been like a big fashion guy. I think I've always been turned off by it because I've never been a big materialism kind of guy. I've always tried to just focus on people.
Yeah.
But like, you know, it's also, I could never afford it because I was broke. You know, I grew up in a poor family, so like when I see people walking around with Supreme, you know, the Gucci belt looking with, you know, and I'm like, yo, I can never. That's like how many paychecks from Wendy's that, you know, like I gotta work. Like I'm not trying to get.
You're in line, man.
Yeah, you
You're
know,
in
so
line.
it's like I like to hear that because it's like it just, you know, it goes to show you don't have to, you know, spend the money on the crazy Jordans and the Supremes and all this crazy stuff to just to look good and get attention. Like you can do it with like what you said.
$50. Literally, go. I take it to the best thrift stop, the thrift store in Lawrence, man. Man, and I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna let you in a little secret, and this is the first time I actually said this out loud. At the end of the day, fashion is unisex, right? Man, listen. You think this is a men's jacket, bro? No.
I didn't even.
It's not.
I assumed it was because he was wearing it.
Say that again, bro.
I assumed it was because he was wearing it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You don't, again, and that goes to tell you don't need money to look good, bro.
Dope.
So that to me is, it just speaks more value than anything else.
Beautiful.
Word.
So I wanted to talk about some of the fashion shows that you've been putting on because you've been doing a lot of fashion shows. So talk about the one that you recently did. I believe it was in Copley. And then talk about some that you may have lined up in the future.
The one that happened in Copley was me watching an opportunity at work. It was breaking news saying that the world was opening up again, phase 4. So I immediately hit up Laced. I'm like, yo.
No second to say. Like, all right,
Literally. I'm like, exact words, yo, the world's opening up. What's up? I said, what do you mean what's up? I want to do a fashion show. And he was like, all right, so when you want to do this and that. After he said that, I was like, all right, you just give me a couple of days and I'll get back to you with everything. So I basically went through a waiting list of models that wanted to model for us. And I finally opened that up because I've been working with the same models for a while, but I think it was time for me to expand a little bit more with I wouldn't say expand, diversify my circle. And got the models, went to Laced, put it together. It was pretty cool because there was a lot of first timers, and for them to be a first time, the experience that I was provided made them anxious for the next one. Made them, yo, what's the next one? Oh, this and that. So that show was pretty cool, and the fact that it was sold out, but it was limited tickets due to COVID, it made me realize that people are waiting for something to happen in Boston or New England. They want to be out. They're tired of being home. They're tired of watching fashion shows through Zoom, through virtual, all that. So it was pretty cool knowing that a lot of people want to see things happen.
Dope. Yeah, that's sick. I'm curious also, just in terms of like, you know, the fact that you have a wait list of models just waiting to like be a part of what you're doing. That's pretty. That speaks in and of itself of what you do and the power of what you do. But also like, you know, on a film sense, you know, when I work in film, you know, outside of what I do here. So like oftentimes we work with actors, and there's a certain way we like to direct certain actors. Every director has their own directing style, of course. But I'm curious, in the fashion world, when you're working with your models, is there direction happening, and how does that look like when you're directing models?
I mean, you have to have direction because then, I don't know if for those that haven't watched SpongeBob, but it was like a scene in SpongeBob when it's in his head and brain, and everybody's going crazy. Like, that's how it is. So I always carry around my red notebook, and I literally, before I go to the fashion show, I literally have everything down in my notebook to the T, to what model's wearing what position she's gonna be at, how she's gonna pose, who's behind her, or if the outfits is matching. So I literally, to the point that the songs that they walk into, I pick every single song and tell the DJ, I need you to cut it here. So he makes the mix for me. So like, I literally handpick everything and have my hands on literally everything. And yeah, it's something to be cool, like prideful about, but to me, it's just my job. This is what I like to do. So it comes natural. So to me, directing models is a must because a lot of models don't know what they're doing, bro, to be honest with you. And then they be asking a lot of questions, this and that. So directing a show behind the scenes is probably the most coolest thing to any model. Like, especially beginning, like my boy, he always wanted a model when I first started, and he just randomly hit me up. Yo, I want a model, what's up, man? Like, I've been hitting the gym, I cut my hair, this and that. I'm ready. So I didn't have pieces for him, but since I was collaborating with Lace, he came. He was just like, wow, man, look at all these beautiful women back here, this and that. Oh man, this is how it is. So I take, pride in that, but it's natural to me. I don't let it show that, I'm the man here. Nah, I just keep cool with everybody because why? I don't need to have egos to do that. I already had ego at the beginning, and that wasn't helping me at all. It was just a lot of negative things coming my way, a lot of BS I was put through, and then when I stopped being that and just stop being selfish and being selfless and just worrying about others instead of me, I could say a lot of doors open up because out of nowhere, like, just a lot of models, especially like as you can see, just one perfect example, like literally it's just people reaching out. So yeah, man, I don't put myself as the guy that's in charge when I'm doing directing shows because what good did that does? At the end of the day, they know they're there because of you, so you ain't gotta prove it in their face. Yeah. So
I want to double back to that because I think that's a great conversational piece that you brought up that I think people can learn a lot from is that the humbleness of it all. Like, can you tell us like what you learned and how you learned in terms of like kind of checking your ego and realizing, well, maybe this is not the best way to go about it. Like, what made you realize that, and how did you work to kind of like pull that in a little bit?
Well, what made me work on that was just noticing my surroundings. Noticed that my surroundings, I wasn't inspired at all. I wasn't really inspired. Like, my surroundings was always hitting me up to do either go to parties, go to the clubs, go out, or do something. So I started changing my surroundings from that. And yeah, don't get me wrong, a lot of people that I wouldn't say cut off, but kind of grew away from, didn't like it, and I didn't expect nothing less. But now from people hitting me up, let's party, let's do this, it goes from, hey, rehearsals at this, yo, you pulling up to the meeting at this time, right? Yo, you send the contract, like, you see how I transitioned that, and then from that, it just makes you realize, like, man, I don't gotta be out there doing bullshit. Like, keep it humble and just be about you and just keep creating opportunities that's gonna create you opportunities. And what got me to that point was a lot of BS, a lot of bullshit. Like, don't get me wrong, like, there's a lot of bridges that I burned at the beginning. Like, I burned a lot of bridges. And then, like, I'm not saying that I'm drowning because of them, but if I had those allies next to me right now, I could basically have a bigger impact in the community. So knowing that I burned those bridges and they could help me now made me realize, yo, bro, don't burn no more bridges from now on, because if you burn those bridges now, let's say 2 years from now, you need somebody to do a podcast for you in the radio or on the show, but you already burned that bridge that you know. You see where I'm going with it?
Absolutely.
So yeah. I just feel
like most people aren't self-aware enough to realize that and then learn from it.
Yeah.
And what you're speaking on is being self-aware enough to realize that didn't obviously work. That could have worked so much better had I been this way, and that would have been fruitful in the long term. Mm-hmm. And like I commend you for that, because not too many people are self-aware enough to see that, realize it, and then change it. You know what I'm saying? So that's dope.
Yeah, and that I could say it helped me a lot. It helped me as a better person for opportunities, and it helped me a better person as a brother, as a cousin, as an uncle, as a boyfriend, a husband, as a son. Like, it helped me better my surroundings. And honestly, I give a lot of commend to my girl right now, you feel me? Because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be so relaxed. You feel me? Like, before I had a girl, I was at directing fashion shows. Being real, like, I was just either flirting with one model or another model, and next thing you know, rehearsals, they're arguing because I'm paying attention to another one, and next you know, they're not part of the next show because they don't want to deal with the bullshit. But now it's just strictly, yo, get dressed. Next, no, take that off. I don't like it. Fix your hair. All right, you look good. You. So it comes to that, and it all thanks to her, because dog, like, I already got a woman. I don't gotta, like, I don't gotta go out my way to impress people. Literally, like, I just if my girl's good, my family's good, the household's good, I have a foundation, then I'm good.
All right, so we took a little break. We're cutting back in. We're punching back in. We're with Phor Popes. We actually have a special guest. We have Monica, who's a model for Phor Popes. Monica, would you mind standing up front, just like showing us the outfit you got on?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
So this is the front.
So what we got right here is a one-piece flannel, pretty much, because I'm very big on flannel. They So Sensitive, inspired by Kanye. The So Sensitive, because why not?
Can you see that over there?
Yeah. Ooh, they so sensitive.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And I wanted to just be different with one long sleeve and one short sleeve. Because why not? Why you gotta make both sleeves look the same? So I was just experimenting with that.
Looks very comfy. How do you feel in it?
It is really comfy. It's stretchy. I like it. It's cute.
You can do jumping jacks and all that in there, right?
Well, how long you say it took you to design
It
that?
took me about 4 or 5 hours. About that. Yeah, and I'm still learning because I feel like I did some mistakes that I made here, but from the outside in, it still looks great.
Yeah.
But I like it a lot, actually. It's actually one of my favorite pieces, but I'm a big believer on next and last. I feel like every artist should feel that their next creativity is their best, and their last is their best as well, because that was their next.
So when you make a piece like that, where do you start?
I started with just looking at videos, what looked good, what guys like, and this was inspired actually by my lady, because she always telling me to make a one piece, and we watched the movie Colombiana and that Wonder Woman and all that, so like that cat suit, it made me really like, yo, why not? And I had a lot of these fabrics there, and I haven't done nothing with them, and it stretches, so why not? Why not?
Beautiful, Monica. We gotta get in on your end of things. So you model for Phor Popes. Can you talk about just like modeling for Phor Popes? What's that like? I've always wondered also, like, you know, because you're talking about behind the scenes. I've always felt like I've never been to a fashion show. I'm not a fashion person. It always just kind of feels like chaos behind the scenes, and then you come out and everybody's like mad, like stoic, walking down, like nothing's happening. But it always just felt like behind the scenes is super chaotic. Can you just explain, like, as a model, like what's going on behind the scenes?
There's definitely a lot going on behind the scenes, but if you have a good group of people, then the vibe's always going to be pretty much at a nice tone. It's not really going to be chaotic, unless it's chaotic in a good way, where we're all like hyped to go, ready to go. But yeah, there's definitely a lot behind the scenes to then just walk out and do it real quick, but it's all worth it, so it's good.
So how's it like working with Phor? Like, give us the like, how's it? What's he like from your perspective? What's he like when he's doing his thing, when he's in his zone?
And be raw too.
Yeah. Paint a picture for us.
He's like so focused. Like, I remember the first shoot that I did, some like stitching came undone, and he just whips out the sewing machine, go, like super fast. And I'm just like there watching, like, how is he doing this right now? But yeah, no, definitely like super dedicated. Like, the fact that he's done so much during COVID in the last year, so on, like so many events, New York Fashion Week and stuff, like it's very like motivating and encouraging, so I like it a lot.
Dope.
Yeah.
Just coming back to New York Fashion Week, obviously for fashion designers, that is like, you know, the Academy Awards of you know, fashion. I would think, right? Can you talk more about that, and also talk about what for 2021? What other things do you have planned? What other shows do you have planned?
So New York Fashion Week was an experience, because to me it was the first time that I ever gone to New York by myself. Like, I always went like with family members or stayed at a family member's house, but it was the first time that we went like about 20 deep, and we brought a bunch of models from Boston. We rented an Airbnb in New Jersey. The highlight moment about that was the ticket that we got, but that's New York. Don't worry about it. New York, that's what New York's all about personally. Like, you can't find parking there. New York Fashion Week, to this day, I want to say it feels unreal, but the fact that the people that are running it are just like you, it just makes you go harder, because I see myself in the footstep in a higher scale. So these are like little steps that I'm taking in order to get there, because I definitely want to be able to put on New York Fashion Week, Paris Fashion Week. I want to be able to make DB4 when it comes to Fashion Week. We're going to Paris, we're going to do Fashion Week there. We're in New York. So to me, it was a learning experience that I need to step my game up more, because I've seen a lot of designers there that had pieces that I was like, yeah, mine's a dope, yeah, but I got to step my game up. And mind you, New York Fashion Week was the second year I started designing. Like, I was designing. So it was 1 year I did my thing, then I reached out to New York. Like, I wouldn't say I reached out, but like I'm kind of like a a spammer. Like I went to New York Fashion Week or anything go live, and I just check me out. Me. Check. Me. Like, you feel me? So that's how I went about New York. They just hit me up like, hey, yo, I love your work. I had to hit you up. You just hitting me up like crazy. I'm like, listen, I got what it takes. I want to be part of what I need to do. What's the requirement? I got a team ready to go. She's like, wow, okay, whoa. First of all, relax. So yeah, it was something that I'm looking forward for next year. I was supposed to be part of it in February, but it got canceled due to COVID. So we recreated the Mirror Louis Vuitton commercial and at Surefire Creative Studios, and that, I'm gonna be honest, to this day, that video is still, I want to say trending, but more people are reaching out based off that video. Like I have people literally go on my page, share that video to me, yo, I love it, when is the next one? So that video, I feel personally, was the video that made me, I wouldn't say that person that's taken in charge of Boston when it comes to fashion, but it looked that way. It made people look that way. All right, there's something going on there. There's something cooking up. All right, let's give it time. We're not gonna support it right away, but we're gonna check it. But there's something there. So I feel we have something there. It's just time. With time, people would see.
How are you gonna top it? The next video.
Well, listen, man. There is a lot of toppings. You know, like there's a lot of videos. Yeah, like there's a fashion video coming out, and but other than that, like, cause I like to do things planned. Like this fashion video is just live of the show. For the next video that's gonna be directed, I want to do the Marilyn Monroe's 1950s theme. I went to Victoria's in New Hampshire, and that's inspired me, and I've been on that. Yeah, listen, yo, that inspired me. Like, we went on our anniversary like 2 months ago, and I have not seen somebody remake the Marilyn Monroe like vibe, like literally like checkers floors, waitress, high apron, puffy hair, bubblegum, milkshake, all that. Like, that's what I that's gonna be the next thing that's gonna top it off. But again, I have a kid on the way. I want to slow down a little bit, like be a little bit more financial stable. So like when the kid gets here, I'll be ready to go. But listen, man, when it comes to I'm my biggest competition, bro. Like I like to outdo myself, and to be honest, it's pretty hard because I want to make sure I top everything. And like, be honest, man, like why not? Why not be your biggest competition?
So we're back. We just punched in again. We're still with Phor Popes. This is about the third take. We're here with another guest. So we had Monica on earlier, who's a model. Now we have on Carlos, who's Phor Popes' business partner. Carlos, can you talk us about like what you do, how you guys got connected, and you know how you're involved in all this?
It's my pleasure to let you guys know, and thank you guys for having us. So my name is Carlos Tanuz, and I am Phor Popes' business partner. You know, this journey started, you know, many moons ago when we, you know, first started working together. After I left where we were working, I heard that Phor was ripping jeans at a table and that they were letting it happen. And honestly, that's just kind of where the story starts. And someone saw that his ripping jeans and love for fashion was enough to warrant him to do that. And he was like, hey, Lois, I need you to come and help me out with this idea I have. And I refused, you know, once.
Shame on him, guys.
Twice. 3 times. But that 4th time, you know, I saw that he started getting so much traction, and I hate to be the one to jump onto the wagon, but, you know, it's been 2 years and we haven't looked back. We're just trying to grow our business for his ideas, his creativity. We're trying to gain a respectable platform. You know, we've worked with a bunch of photographers, models, artists, and, you know, the fashion industry is just such a growing, you know, industry. You know, people are always trying to wear something that makes them feel comfortable, makes them feel confident. And I think that's what Phor provides, and it's something that's I'm very passionate about, is about feeling confident. You know, when I put on this hoodie, I feel like I'm a different man, you know, because it was made by this man. And that's what we're trying to do. So we've been collaborating with companies like Laced. And I know we have several goals to, you know, not be local, but be global. You know, we talk about New York Fashion Week about being such a pivotal moment, but we're thinking about Paris Fashion Week. We want to go to Tokyo. We want to show our slice of fashion and culture and bring it all over the world. And I think, one of my goals is you think of Amazon. You're not thinking about the river, you're thinking about the company. Apple, thinking about your iPhone. Phor, you're thinking about this man, not the number. And, for some people, when they hear Phor, they look for someone. For some people, they think about the number. But we're going to try to get the movement behind us to kind of get some recognition to this dream that we're trying to get to. There are challenges, between ourselves, between trying to get to the next level, but we're constantly evolving. It's not about the direction. It's not about the speed. It's about the direction. That's something that Phor always says. And, those small things between us definitely help the platform build. And I appreciate you guys for having us as well. Grindhouse, definitely someone that I am going to start tuning into, and can't wait to see that 100th episode. We're close. We're close.
We're only about 32 episodes away from 100. Yeah. Close, a lot closer than we thought we were gonna get. I mean, we always considered us to go the long, but like to be closer to 100 than 0 is obviously a big feat for us. I want to kind of talk about something I'm not aware of, but I'd love to talk to you guys about being in the fashion scene, like being in New York Fashion Week, being involved, and also being Dominican men or men of color, Hispanic men. Can you talk about like is there a big representation of men like you guys in the fashion scene, or like people from our culture in that scene, like in New York Fashion Week especially? Like how much of people that look like you guys did you see there?
For me, I'll say not. Yeah, it was diversified in New York Fashion Week. There was a lot of people, I wouldn't say that looked like me, but they were in the same field color-wise. But me personally, in the fashion scene, being Puerto Rican, I'm not Dominican, I'm Puerto Rican. Just throwing that out there. Throwing that out there. It feels good because you don't name me an inspirational Puerto Rican designer. Exactly. There you go. That's when I come and play. I feel like I have a lot of pressure on me, but I feel like I work better under pressure. If I have enough time, I have enough time to fuck up. So the fact that I'm not putting on for myself, for Puerto Rico itself, and nobody in my family really doing something that could be looked at a global scale, to me it makes me feel good. Yeah, it's challenging, like he says, but that's how you build confidence. I feel like going through these steps alone, or in the dark, or being in the dark, or going, making mistakes, or taking L's that are lessons instead of losses, it shapes you into a better person, and it makes you approach things completely different. And me being Puerto Rican, I love it because at the end of the day, man, the fashion industry is Americanized, and I personally want to be the first straight designer that's collaborating with like Moschino, Jeremy Scott, or Carl Laffinger, like all these people that, if you look at them, are not Puerto Rican. So I want to break that barrier, and I feel like I said earlier, like the NBA has a culture, influence in the culture. Fashion is there. Well, I want to be in that platform as well, making sure that the next Puerto Rican knows that he could get to that platform. So I don't see nobody doing it. So why not?
I also think, Phor, you've done a great job, diversifying our cast of models. We definitely see a wide gambit of talent, from tall to short to Afro to Caucasian. We're always definitely trying to push the envelope, especially with some of the pieces that you've been making. I definitely see some Latin inspiration in there, and I feel like it's always going to be there regardless of the content that we're creating.
Critter, do you have any questions?
I'm actually all out of questions. If you guys want to plug anything.
Before we get into plugging, I have one more question, because I love where you went with that last thing that you said, and I think that I wanted to just kind of pull a little bit more from there, and then we can kind of finish it off with things that you want to plug. But just to kind of keep going on the conversation, is there anything for that like 12, 13-year-old, maybe like, girl or boy who's like the Phor Popes that was, you know, that age? And is there anything that you want to just like say or give advice to for the youngins who are coming up who aspire to be what you're doing right now?
I'll say don't be afraid. And I say that because I'm watching this show called Master Chef Juniors, and seeing 13-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 8-year-olds cook like that, they're not afraid. So don't be afraid. And like I said, look towards something that you want to be. Example, if you want to be a designer, well, look up designers and look what they do. For kids that are growing up, I really could say is, man, just really, really, really just enjoy being a kid. Enjoy being a kid. Because once you hit a certain level, responsibility hits you, and you can't be a kid. Because I was one of those, bro, I used to get in trouble with my moms or my aunt. I can't wait till I'm 18 to get the hell out of my house. You feel me? Bro, 18 came, you leaving? Well, regardless, I got kicked out of my house at 16, but that was my fault. And I feel like that's what made me a strong person as well, because I wasn't obeying the rules and all that. And again, my mom always say, if you ain't paying rent, bills, nothing, these are my rules. So I was breaking those rules, and I even swinged at my father, and that right there is not a cool thing to do. Respect your parents. Please respect your parents, because there's only one parent, and you don't get to really appreciate that as much as a kid, because you're having fun. But once you get older and you have a kid, you see all the sacrifices that they made for you. If it's not like having nice clothes on your back or food on the table, yes, for us as a kid, it seems like it's easy, but when you're in those footsteps, it's not easy. It's a lot of responsibility. So enjoy being a kid as much, but always keep something in mind that you want to do in the future. Because at the end of the day, I didn't know I wanted to become a fashion designer until I was 25, 26. You feel me? So like 26 of me bullshitting around. So have fun and don't take life too serious. Because at the end of the day, you only live once, man.
That's beautiful, man. Also, and congratulations, because you're about to be a pop, so
Yeah.
Congratulations to that as well. But yeah, I guess thank you again for joining us, Carlos. Thank you for joining us, Monica. Thank you for joining us.
My beautiful wife. Thank you for joining us.
Of course, thank you for joining us as well. So we can end it with knowing what you're up to and what you're doing and where we can find you. So feel free to plug away.
You can find me on Instagram, Phor Popes. DB4, DBPHOR, or you can go hit the website www.dbphor.fashion. And one thing I gotta say to everybody, I'm approachable. Yeah, I'm very approachable. Yeah, I know I wasn't approachable in the past because I was arrogant, but I'm trying to grow. I'm not trying to beef with nobody. I'm trying to make shit happen. I know there's bigger things in life than just what we're doing right now. We have bigger purposes. So, yeah, I let my work speak for myself, honestly. Let the work speak for itself. And if you like it, you know where to find me. I'm approachable. And if you want to work, let's work. I'm always looking for models, photographers, videographers, podcasters, anything. If you create, let's work. Let's create together and make something happen.
Beautiful, beautiful. As always, if you fuck with us, if you like what we do, make sure you like our videos. Make sure you show Phor Popes some love. Make sure you're following this man on Instagram as well. Share our video. Make sure you subscribe. We have these beautiful hoodies as well. I mean, they're not as fashionable as what we got over here.
We gonna work.
They nice.
After the camera shut off, we gonna talk. So don't worry about it. We gonna next episode was it 68?
68.
Wait till you see 69. Wait till you see 69.
But for sure, thank you again for joining us. Seriously, we really appreciate it. I thought this was an amazing conversation. And we'll see you guys next time. Take care.